What can you tell us about the deportees that are sent to El Salvador? We know right now that deadline, it looks like, has come and gone. But is there any possibility, you think, that they will be returned to the U.S. as this legal process plays out?
You know, what we're very excited about is the fact that in El Salvador, we have a great friend in President Bukele, who, during conversation with the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, offered to take third-party nationals in our efforts to make America safer and by removing gang members. Now, certainly, Tren de Aragua has been also declared a terrorist organization. And also, President Bukele asked specifically for a couple of MS-13 members that are wanted back in El Salvador, and another about 21 major gang leaders who also they wanted returned out of the United States to face justice in their home country. So this is a great resolution. We appreciate it. It certainly is a step that we will see many more steps when it comes to the deportation of foreign nationals, illegal aliens, gang members, certainly in some cases the terrorist gang members as well, back to their home countries. And these nations need to be repatriating their citizens who've come illegally into this nation, terrorizing families, terrorizing neighborhoods. This is part of Trump's commitment, of course, to making America safe again, and Secretary Rubio's commitment to move that vision forward, because that's what the American people voted for last November.
But the White House has not presented evidence that these deported migrants actually belong to Tren de Aragua. The names of these deported individuals haven't been released. My question is, what could this mean going forward when it comes to the president's crackdown on immigration, on illegal immigration?
Well, I think this is the Department of Homeland Security that handles the removal of these individuals back to whichever country is accepting them, usually their home country. And as you might imagine, they know very well who's who. We are not guessing in these cases, but that is not, of course, the purview of the State Department. So it is the Department of Homeland Security whose mission really is, of course, this kind of a framework.
I want to shift now to the Middle East. We know Israel has launched this renewed ground operation there in Gaza. We heard from the White House press secretary just a short time ago. Let's listen to a bit of what she had to say.
The president made it very clear to Hamas that if they did not release all of the hostages, there would be all hell to pay. And unfortunately, Hamas chose to play games in the media with lives. This situation, let's not forget, is completely the fault of Hamas when they launched that brutal attack on Israel on October 7th. And the president has made it very clear that he wants all of those hostages to come home, and he fully supports Israel and the IDF and the actions that they've taken in recent days.
And now, Tammy, there is no question that Hamas launched that attack. But is the administration at all concerned about how this will impact what's already a catastrophic humanitarian crisis happening in Gaza?
Well, this is what has driven President Trump and Secretary Rubio, is to stop the suffering and to stop the massacre. And we were in a very, very good place with the ceasefire, and Hamas had a chance to extend it and to continue it. And they said no. And they didn't. They did not release the hostages. There was a problem within the framework of what they were deciding to do. And that's Caroline's remark, of course, from the beginning, is that all of this is occurring because of the choices that Hamas has made. On the other hand, for the United States and the other nations concerned about this, but certainly President Trump's drive to stop this from continuing for generations, as you know, this has gone on and on. And he has finally presented this notion that things have to be done differently, that this cannot continue. And we're finally close to, certainly with Russia and Ukraine and in the Gaza situation, with negotiations and the envoys that we have, was the goal of stopping the suffering, to make sure that aid could get through, was to end effectively the hostage taking of an entire nation, or certainly of a city like Gaza, and Gazans themselves being taken hostage, if you will, by Hamas, to say nothing of Idan Alexander, who is an American, who is the one still alive, who still is being held by these monsters. And we're waiting for bodies, the bodies of people that they took hostage. So this is the nature of who we're dealing with. We are leading the way to stop the suffering. And that has been our goal from the start and remains our mission.